Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is July's block for the 2021 Directional Sampler Afghan. Couple things I want to talk to you about real quick. One of them is that I am going to have to say this is probably, and I say this at the end of the tutorial too, this is probably a block that I like the least in the pattern, or I mean in the Afghan, only because the stitch definition isn't very obvious. Like, it doesn't stand out, which may be the color of the yarn I used. Like, if somebody else was to use a lighter colored yarn, it's definitely possible the stitch definition could have stood out more. It's just with my color, it doesn't, so I'm kind of like, I like it, but it's not my favorite, I guess I should say. But it's super easy. It's a 2-row repeat. We repeat row 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 4 until you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 rows ending on the puff stitch row. 10 rows of puffs, and then we have just a finishing row where we just double crochet across. The stitch multiple for this is 4 plus 2, so 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, however long you want. Then add 2 at the end for turning and whatnot. That's it for this block. Let's go ahead and start with what you needed. You're obviously going to need a 6mm hook. You're going to need a tape measure to make sure with your gauge and everything you're getting as close to 12 inches wide as you can. I just ever so lightly, I had to block mine. Not too much. See, it's just a tad bit off. 12 inches and then 12. Just a little bit. Nothing too intense. So yeah, get you a tape measure. Make sure it's a cute one. For measuring your block after you work, or you making sure you get close to 12 inches. Now your yarn, I'm using the second color of the 2 I picked out. This is Crafter's Secret Big Idea from Hobby Lobby in the color Fabulous. Alright. Oh, and get you a needle to weave in your ends. And that's it, guys. Let's get this July block done. Okay, to get started on July's block, we're going to start with a chain of 38. And the stitch multiple is 4 plus 4 plus 4, and then add 2. So 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, however long you want, then add 2. So we're going to start with 38. I've got my block done, so I'm going to do a little sample here with you guys. So get your chain of 38 done, and then come back, and we're going to start row 1. We're going to single crochet in the second chain from hook. So skip your first one into the next one with a single. And then we just single into each chain across. And that is going to be row 1. So I'm just going to single down this row. I forgot. Alright, so go ahead and single crochet down your chain and come back here, and we are going to move on to row 2. Alright, we'll be right back. Okay, I've got one more chain that I need to work into, so I'm going to single crochet into that chain. And that's the end of row 1. Alright, so to move on to row 2, we are going to chain 1 and turn, and we are going to double crochet into the very first. And then we're going to double crochet into each single all across our little work. Alright, so double crochet into each single all the way across, and I will come back and meet you guys at the end. Okay, I'm coming to the end. I have 2 more to go into. One right there, and then one right here at the end. And there we go. There is row 2. Simple. Alright, now to move on to row 3, Row 3 and row 4 are the two rows we are going to repeat for the row repeat for our block. Alright, so to start our first row of the repeat, row 3, we double crochet into the very first double. Oop. Right in there. And now we back post treble around the next. So treble, we yarn over twice, just come in, and we're pulling that double crochet to the back, and then we work our treble. Okay? Then we're going to puff into the next. Now make sure you're skipping the double crochet that you worked that back post around, right? So the top that you see, we just kind of completely skip that and go into the next with a puff. And what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, pull it up to about the height of a double, one, sorry, don't yarn over, yeah, yarn over, we're going to go back in, pull up a loop, 2, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, 3. Now we should have 3, 6, and 7 loops, yarn over and pull through all 7, chain 1, and that's our puff. Now around the next stitch, we're going to work a front or a back post treble, yarn over twice, come down and around and finish your treble. Okay, and then in the next stitch, remember, skip the one we worked around right here. The next double just gets a double crochet. And that kind of blocks off our set. So to start our next set, we work back post treble around the next. Puff into our next, yarn over, 1, excuse me, 2, and 3, 7 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 7, chain 1, that's the puff, back post treble around the next, and double crochet into the next. So I kind of think of it as the doubles are the end of our little block right here, or what we use to separate our blocks, with our blocks being the front post, puff, or I'm sorry, back post, puff, back post, then double. So I'm going to go ahead and stay with you guys to finish this row, because we don't have too much to go. Okay, so we've worked our doubles, so now we start our next block, I'll say, or our set. We work a back post treble, a puff into the next. Don't forget to skip that double crochet you worked around. So yarn over, go in, pull up, make sure it's about the length of a double, yarn over, go in, pull up, yarn over, go in, pull up. That was 3 times, so we should have 7, 3, 6, 7, yarn over, pull through all 7, chain 1, back post treble around the next double, got a little knot coming, and then to end our little set, double crochet into the next. Don't forget to skip. Alright, now we start the next one. Back post treble around the next. Puff stitch in the next. So we yarn over, go in, pull up, yarn over, go in, pull up, yarn over, go in, pull up, 3 times, 7 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through, chain 1. back post treble around the next, and that is our set. To end it, we double crochet into the next. All right, so to start our next set, we back post treble around the next double, puff into the next, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through all, chain 1, back post treble around the next, 2 and 3. That's our set. So to end our set, and which happens to be the last stitch of this row, double crochet into the very last double crochet, and that is row 3. This is what it should be looking like. All right, so for row 4, we chain 1 and turn. Now the pattern of this is a little complicated to see when you're at the beginning. Sorry guys, I bumped my camera. But once you work it, you can the pattern starts to show. Let's hold this here so you guys can see it. The puffs and the front posts, back posts. All right, so for row 4, chain 1 and turn. All right, now we double crochet into our very first double. And now we front post around our back post, which is a front post now that we turned around. That gets confusing for some, I know. Okay, so now we double crochet into the top of our puff, which when you look, this is the, let me show you guys, right here, all right, this is the top of the back post that we worked right here. Okay, this is the stitch created when we did our puff. The next is the chain 1. You guys see that? And then this is the top of the front post treble. What we're going to do is we're going to go right into that chain 1. So whenever we turn it, here's our front post treble that we worked, and here's our puff. So it looks like there's the top of the puff, a whole nother stitch, and then the top of our post stitch, our post treble right there, right? But that is actually not a stitch. That's actually what is created when we did our puff, and then right here is the chain 1, and what we want to work into is the chain 1. So if you look at your puff, you notice how all of the legs of the stitch all kind of come together at one point? That's where we're going to work into. I hope that wasn't too confusing. All right, so we're going to double into the top of our puff. So just look at your puff and look at where all the legs are going. They're all meeting at one point, right? Right there is where we're going to double. And then we front post around the next, which it was a back post, but now that we turned, it's a front post. All right, and then we double into our double. So basically, to sum up what we're doing, we're front post double or treble crocheting around the front posts. See them? Or just the post stitch, I'll say, because we all know that was a back post when we worked it, but when we turn it around, it's now a front post. And now, so we work a front post around the post of our stitch right there, and then we move on to our post, or our puff stitch, and we look and see where the legs of those stitches all kind of come together right at the top. That's where we work our double. And this little thing right here, that's not a stitch, that's just the top of, that's what's made whenever we work our puff. And then we front post around the next post stitch, double into our double. So we're kind of using the double on the double The double crochet worked into the double is still considered the end of our set. It's just, we just so happen to be working a double into the top of that puff. But all that's doing is just setting us up to work the puff on our repeat of round 3. All right, so we doubled into our double, front post around our post stitch, and then double crochet into the top of our puff. Front post around the post stitch, double crochet into our double. Front post around the post, the next post stitch. Look at your puff, look at where all the legs are going. They're all coming, or they're all going to one center spot right there. That's the chain 1 we worked at the end of the puff, and we double crochet into that. Front post around the next post stitch. Double crochet into the double. Front post around your next post, so we're starting our new set. Double crochet into the top of your puff, which happens to be the chain 1 that we worked, and the same point where all of the legs of the puff stitch converge at the top. Work a double. Front post, double crochet into the next double. And repeat that all the way across your guys's block. And when we come to the end, we front post into the next post, around the next post, I'm sorry. Double crochet into the top of your post, puff, not post, front post around, front post treble around your next post. 1, 2, there we go. And double crochet into the next double, which just so happens to be the very last stitch of the row. Double crochet into that, and that is the end of row 4. So now all you're going to do is repeat row 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 4, and keep repeating that until, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows of row 3, and I ended on row 3. I stopped, and then for our final row I chained 1 and turned and worked a double crochet into each stitch all the way across. Just doubled into the very top of each one. Now when you're working that, be careful you're not working into that what looks like the top of that puff, but it's actually not. We're only gonna double crochet into the chain 1 at the end of the puff, not the little dummy stitch that's created whenever we work the puff. Okay, so get your block done, work your finishing row, double crochet all the way across the top into every stitch, making sure you don't work 2 into the top of your puff stitch. One more. Chain 1. Chain 1, pull up a loop, fasten off, weave in your ends, and then I just a little bit needed to block mine, but it comes out 12 by 12. And that's it, guys. That is July block. This one's a little easier. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just a a tad bit of an easier block. I will have to say, out of all the blocks that we've done so far, this may be the one I like the least. Only because the stitch pattern isn't as definite, or defined, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Obvious, I guess I should say. I don't know. This is just one of the ones I like the least. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the links in the description box. Subscribe if you haven't. Ooh, dropped my tape measure. Hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of this block. Do you guys like this block, or is there a different one you like better? And that's it. I'll put links in the description box for the other blocks too, for the rest of them, the other blocks we've done. Okay, guys, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.